This has turned into a bit more of a metal project than I thought, and I'm not a metal guy. I got some metal tools. I'll take you through the process. It's not pretty, it's probably not right, but we'll get something out of it.
Our chief engineer spends most of his time in his machine shop, testing his automats over and over again.
Okay, well, I'm glad I came over here and looked at this, because the wiring, I thought, so just looking at this plug, that fits the other side of that compressor, but apparently, if I hadn't done this, I would have just hooked that up to it. But I have to run it, it says to run it through a thermostat, which I'm assuming is inside of there, right? That makes sense? Because the rheostats and all that stuff for like tuning the hot and cold live in the box. So I'm guessing the thermostat is part of that. And then we're just picking up the wire here, which is a green wire, it says, and we're coming out. So this is going to go to one side of this. Can you see this? It's going to go to one side of that, and then the other side of this is actually what goes to the compressor. But like I've always done, I put the cart before the horse, and what I really need to do is mount the condenser and the dryer under the hood somewhere. So I've got room for it. So there's plenty of room up here for it. I just gotta make a mounting solution. So it's gonna look like me making some brackets for a little bit. So I'm gonna drag it over here and we'll start taking a look at what it's gonna take to get that stuff mounted up. Hey, real quick caveat. I sometimes I leave the TV on when I'm in here. You guys ever watch that Power Nation? The way that they talk cracks me up. They say stuff like this. We're gonna get it going in a good old fashioned manner. We're gonna have some horsepower on tap. I think it's funny how like their inflection talks like this and then they're gonna bring it home. We're gonna go out here and we're gonna rev it up and burn it down. I don't know, I just think it's funny the way they talk. 10x4 for that first piece. Okay, we got the first side built, and I got it built out of metal and everything, and put a little paint on it. That's it right there. And in a moment, I'll show you what it looks like on the car. And then for the other side, it's gonna be a little more complicated. What we're gonna do is, this is it. We're gonna punch some holes in it on the left side there, and that right side, I'm gonna push a little bead roll in it. So this is going to be a bit more complex. Let me put it up here and show you. But I got a lot to contend with, like where the fittings are for the AC line I got to think about. And then, of course, the through holes so I don't choke off the radiator. And then this just looked like plain Jane over here, so I decided to do that, do those bead rolls in there. So this has turned into a bit more of a metal project than I thought, and I'm not a metal guy. So I got some metal tools that I can kind of use. So I'll take you through the process here. It's not pretty, it's probably not right, but we'll get something out of it. I think the first thing we need to do is make it easier to handle, so I'll go through and get all the crazy edges off. Okay, now we got something that we can, come on you. We got something that we can kind of handle safely. I'm gonna go lay out the pattern for the holes. Okay, there we go. We got that. What we need to do here is, where's my test panel at? I did a test panel just to see how it was gonna bend and everything, because this is actually kind of thick, 18 gauge. I've done plenty of 20 gauge on the bead roller, and of course 20 gauge is nothing, and it rolls fine. So I pushed this one in a test panel just to kind of see how it was going to go. And what I noticed is it gave me a lot of curve. I got a lot of it out by shrinking the edges with the stomp shrinker. But I think I can alleviate a lot of that by pre-stretching where I'm going to bead roll. So we'll do that now. Okay, so one thing you want to kind of try and do is you can see how when I brought the panel up into it, I'm getting like no shape out of it so far, but I clamp it down in there and I don't roll it off the edge because you want to keep the edge nice and then kind of relieve this area so it's got somewhere to push into. And by keeping the outside area unstretched, basically, it's going to kind of hold that shape in there. Okay, we're over at the motorized bead roller. It's not a homemade bead roller, but the motorized portion certainly is. If you haven't seen my series of videos on this, go take a look. This is automation, by the way, in case you were wondering. Works good, lasts a long time. Okay, there's contact, and we'll start with one full revolution on it. Turn it down a tickle bit. That's way too fast. Get another little turn on it. All right, let's see. Oh yeah, guys, it is coming in. I got a good break on this side, and we just gotta run it some more. That is gonna work. Oh, that's gonna work. That's exciting for me. Okay. it is now turning into a buckled up mess, which is kind of what I expected it to do. So not enough stretch on it for sure. So we're gonna have to go back and shrink around the edges, which I think I might go do now, just because it's losing a lot of its ding dong there. So we'll do that. One thing I'm kind of bummed about is I've got a good profile out here, because this edge of the die, I don't know if you can see it, but this edge of the die is like really engaged on that part, so it's helped folding it over. But I lose the purchase on it when I go around the outside there. So I don't know, I'll have to figure out if there's a way I can make that any kind of sharper. I don't know. But let me go shrink these edges real quick and see if I can't get it to come back. I should probably bolt this thing to the ground. All right, we got a lot of it back out. I'm gonna go back to the bead roller and run this through a couple more times. Okay, I got a pretty good line all the way around it. You can see that pretty good. I'm good with that. So the only thing I did get is I got a little bit of swoop-de-doo in it. I'm just gonna try and bend it out, push it out, see what it will do. And there still is some oil canning in the panel, so I need to shrink the edges some more, but we can do that. Yeah, this needs to be shrunk up some, and the bottom side too. So I won't make you watch that. I'm gonna shrink it up some more, see if I can get some of that out. If push comes to shove, I'll just live with it. Now I think for this piece, that's as good as that's gonna get. That's fine, right? I mean, it's fine. I drilled the holes out for the knockout, and I'll show you how that works. I use this knockout tool because it's so much easier than like hole saws or doing big nasty holes in stuff. This tool is cheap enough to make it make sense. So if you do this kind of stuff, I'd recommend getting one. So the top die just kind of screws on there like that. And then, let's see, we'll just pump this up and you can see it. Let's see if I can do this one-handed here. You see it going through there? There it goes. Boom. That hole's ready to be dimple dyed. Oh no. There's our part. I mean, that, you can't really be mad at that. Let's go see what it looks like. Okay. Okay. I'm not mad at it. A little bit of that bow, I think when I suck that side in, to the core support, it'll probably bring some of that bow out, but that is that. Just letting the air flow right through to the other side. I'm not mad at that at all. Like I said, I'm not some sheet metal fabricator guy, but I don't know. I might be turning it into one. I mean, that ain't bad. That's not bad. That is definitely presentable. All right, let's get some paint rattled up. We'll get this cleaned up, paint rattled up, and then we'll shoot it. We got big video production in the house today. Oh no. Ben is on the rig. He's in the house. But we're back on the Falcon. I've got the front end figured out here. I took the grill out and I'm getting this set up. I got two pieces that I made. I showed you before, but they're right here. This piece is gonna hold on the left side of the condenser. I guess that's the right side. And then, no, it's the left side. And then that side is gonna hold that one. Of course, the speed holes are to not block the airflow for the radiator. I got the condenser sitting on a piece of cardboard right now, so when I bolt it up, it's gonna be kind of hovering. I wanted it to kind of float. I didn't want it to sit on anything other than these mounts, just so it doesn't chafe anything. And of course, there's gonna be an air gap between the two as well. Okay, we got one side up and going. Check it out. It looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. The other side is still dry and I got paint on it. So as soon as it is tacky enough to handle, we'll bring it over and get it set up. I've got it on there. A few small things to work out still, but it looks pretty good. You see, nice airflow going through. Everything looks good. This side looks killer. Problems I have is these holes right here are for the hood latch to bolt onto. But my other radiator bracket, you can barely see it kind of hanging down there. I got to take that off and clearance that. And then I guess I'll just use cage nuts for 5/16 bolts and take the condenser back off, slip them up there, and then use that to secure the hood mount. This is looking good. Everything's fitting real nice. One thing, so I've got this kind of riding on. Can you see that? You can see that. So that I need to take this bag off and paint it, but this is floating. This whole thing right here, this whole condenser is floating. It is a little contact right here, but I think what I'm going to do is I've tried to rebend this and get it pushed back, and then it kind of interferes with the radiator, and I don't like that. I'd rather have this contact this area here, but what I'm going to do is probably put some foam or some rubber between it here and kind of isolate it, and that should also kind of like firm up where it mounts. So I'm really excited about that. That looks good. I've got no beef with that at all. We're going to, let's see, I think I need to paint that thing. So we'll take it back apart, we'll throw some paint on it, then we'll put it back together, and then the front end is going to go back together for the last time. The only thing I really don't have room for is the dryer. And the reason I don't have room for the dryer is because that pressure sensor kind of, if it was at a 90, I could probably make it work. but there's not a whole bunch of room anywhere down in here to put that thing. So you're supposed to put it somewhere like outside, not to be affected by the engine heat and all that stuff. So you can put it in the car, like under the dash, which is probably what I'm going to end up doing. Or maybe under the hood somewhere far away from a heat source that's like vented. Or maybe I'll put a port that kind of throws some air too. I don't know. I mean, there's this for the battery where the battery used to go. I might get away with putting it in there. I think that would be far enough away from a heat source that it would be safe. I don't know. But that's it for today. We're going to call that a video. We finally got something started and finished in one video, which is kind of rare for me. So we've got the whole front end done now. Radiator mounted, condenser mounted. We're ready to run lines. We made a few brackets. We had some sheet metal work in this video, some fabrication, some thinking, so that's good enough for me. Hey, if you like this kind of stuff, be sure to follow the channel, like the channel, and hit the bell notification so you don't miss anything. I appreciate it. This car's coming together. I know I'm always saying the same stuff over and over, but it's coming together on that one. Keep watching. It's going to make noise real soon. I appreciate you coming around.